Hey everybody, welcome back to the Many Years Late series. I'm going to continue reviewing the last four books. Today is the Warriors of Chaos. Now, there's a few things I got to get out of the way. There's a couple of normal things I normally do at the beginning of these videos, and one more that I need to point out that I am using a new video card, and I'm hoping that it doesn't crap out while doing this recording, because I've noticed that it tends to get hot and then start to shudder, I guess. So if that happens, I've already ordered a new one, a better one, so hopefully that'll not happen in this video, but if it does, that's why. So, caveats for this video, I'm going to explain how I'm going to review this book. It is going to be a review from a competitive standpoint, only in 8th edition Warhammer Fantasy rules. So none of the tournament comps, because the second you add any of the tournament comps, it changes the opinions on a lot of the different models and units. Secondly, competitive means something different to everybody. To me, what I'm trying to say when I say competitive, I'm not talking tournament play, I'm talking two people making a strong list with the intent of winning. So if I say something isn't optimal, it doesn't mean you never bring it. It just means from a competitive standpoint, there's probably something that can do the same job more efficiently. That being said, Warriors of Chaos, about 9 years late. Lots of things in this book. It's actually one of my favorite. Army that can play up and play down, which is not a lot of armies can do both. Let's see, we're going to get to the first thing, and we're going to start off with the Army Special Rules. Once again, I am going to skip special characters. When I get to the end of the series, I will do a poll and go over a handful of named characters that I need to try to do. Or I should do, and go over and review, because every character I can spend 20 minutes or longer on every character, making this video like 3 hours long. That being said, I'm going to time myself, and my goal is to keep this video at about an hour or under. And you can check right now if I succeeded, but I don't know if I did it yet. Okay. Army-wide special rules for the Warriors of Chaos. Their demons cause demonic attacks. That includes their whatever, that's expected. We have Gifts of Chaos and Marks of Chaos. So you can have, I think it's pretty straightforward, but there are four greater lore, four major chaos gods: Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle, and Slaanesh. And your models, most of them I believe, can be marked with a special mark of chaos. If you are marked with the mark of Khorne, I think they cost additional points, but we'll go over that when we get to it. You gain the Frenzy special rule with the mark of Khorne. Mark of Tzeentch has 6-up ward save. And if you already have a ward save, you increase the ward save on the model to a maximum of 3+. There's some pretty cool combos with that. And Mark of Nurgle, you just have a -1 penalty to hit. That is so good in this edition. Mark of Slaanesh, it's not the best one. You automatically passes Fear, Terror, and Panic tests. Okay, so marks, but I think they'll make more sense as we go over some of the units and see where some of them make sense. Because Slaanesh doesn't have all the, it's usable. It's not the go-to. The other three see far more play. I didn't mean to close the page. There's also the special equipment, and only one thing for Chaos is the Chaos Armor. It's like full plate armor, so 4-up armor save. And wizards can wear Chaos Armor and cast spells, which I think is its greatest boon. And then there is the Eye of the Gods table. Now, I'm going to read how this works, because it's been changed slightly from edition to edition. Models the special rule, blah, blah, blah. So if a character kills another character in a challenge, you roll 2d6 and consult the chart. And then you probably forgot that in the game, like every other player does. And you gain a random buff. However, if you roll a double ones, your character turns into a spawn, which I think is awesome. And if you roll double sixes, it turns into a Demon Prince. It's called Demonhood. That being said, if you roll 3, you get +1 ballistic skill, a 4 +1 toughness, a 5 +1 to your armor save, 6 gives you +1 weapon skill, 7 you get 1 free reroll to hit or to wound or saving throw until the end of the next turn, because 7 is the common one, easy to get. 8 +1 initiative, 9 +1 attack, 10 +1 strength, and 11 you gain a 6-up ward save. If you already have ward save, is improved by 1. Now, unfortunately, this Eye of the Gods table would have been significantly better in previous editions. There's not a whole lot of character-on-character action in 8th edition. It's mostly hordes of infantry versus hordes of infantry. That being said, it is a very cool, fluffy thing that the book does have, where you have to honor your gods, and you have to be the best warrior, challenge things out, win in a challenge, and gain a boon, gain a buff. Note that the Chaos Champion must cause the last unsaved wound to a model to claim the kill. Causing an unstable enemy to perish as a result of combat resolution doesn't count. Oh, you have to cause the killing blow. That's cool. Not overly useful, but kind of a cool thing. Okay, so now we're going to go into the special, or not special, we're going to go into all the units in the book, and because the way these 8th edition books are laid out, you're going to see me flip through 3 different sections for every section, for every model. So the Chaos Lord, we have a movement of 4 because he's a human, but a whopping weapon skill 8 with a ballistic skill 3. Strength and toughness 5. Super solid there. 3 wounds, initiative 7, 5 attacks, and leadership 9. And then I'm going to scooch on over and check what equipment and or options you can put on this thing. Name character. Exalted Hero. That's a hero. Chaos Lord. Okay, so you're paying for that stat line 210 points. Now, that's not nothing, but you are getting quite a bit. You have the Eye of the God special rule. You come with Chaos Armor and a hand weapon, so a 4 armor save. You can buy magic items worth up 100 points, and then Chaos Mutations worth up to 50 more on top of that. Really cool. We'll get to those. And then you can pay for your marker. Marker Corn costs 10 points. Actually, Corn, Tzeentch, and Nurgle all cost 10. Go figure. And this is the next cost 5. You have a great weapon, a flail, halberd, lance, shield, and a mount. One of the mount options, which I think is worth using. Get the Corner of Juggernaut, the Disc of Tzeentch. There's a nice combo with the Disc of Tzeentch. Mark of Tzeentch. We'll go over some of that stuff. And the Manticore is my favorite mount. It is a model you can buy. I believe the kit is still available if you want to start a Warriors of Chaos army. So a Lord on a Manticore. Now, a Lord on a big old monster isn't always ideal in 8th edition. That being said, it looks badass. But we're talking competitive here. You're probably not going to use it competitively, but it looks badass, and it's a pretty hefty beast with a Manticore adding 4 more strength 5 attacks. Like, you can just do some munching. You get your Thunder Stomp. Like, you can do some serious damage so long as you don't get killed by range attacks, cannons, bows, stuff like that. That being said, my Lord of choice for my style of play has always been the Chaos Sorcerer, which is going to come up next. Oh, actually, we'll talk about the Exalted Hero. So the hero version of the martial characters. Only weapon skill 7, only toughness 4, but you keep that strength 5, 2 wounds, initiative 6, 4 attacks, and can be a BSB. And I believe this thing costs 110 points base, 25 points more for the BSB. Now you're gonna have Chaos Armor. My go-to, I think it was Chaos Armor, Enchanted Shield, Dawnstone, and the Sword of Might. So that 2 up rerollable strength 4 strength 6 attacks. That to me is a standard in the Chaos. I would say Chaos Base Rings. To me, that's a standard in a Warriors of Chaos army for your BSB. And then my Lord, I always like the Sorcerer Lord. Sorcerer Lord, human stats, a little beefier, weapon skill 5, strength and toughness 4, 3 wounds, initiative 5, 3 attacks for Sorcerer, and leadership 8. Comes with the Chaos Armor. You can take the Lore of Death, Lore of Fire, Lore of Metal, Lore of Shadow. If you have a Mark of Tzeentch, you can take the Lore of Tzeentch, Mark of Nurgle, like a Lore of Nurgle. But either way, out of the 8 lores you take from the book, all the good ones that you want, you can take. Special rules are Eye of the Gods, and points value for this Chaos Sorcerer Lord is going to be 235 plus 35 to make it on level 4. And to me, that 270 points is your standard go-to general. Your only leadership 8. But I love Magic, and I don't think the additional leadership 9 is that necessary for the army. That being said, if you really do think the army, so the leadership is necessary, you can always buy the standard leadership to get leadership 9 on your unit, which will confer to your general leadership 8 up to 9. But if that's a good argument, then you can also take that argument to a Chaos Lord on foot, and you make it a leadership 10 with the standard discipline. And then the probably best Lord choice, I have to scoot ahead, because they're not in order, is the Demon Prince. Now, there are very, 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 very few bat reps with a Demon Prince in it for one good reason. We're talking competitive here. It is kind of broken OP. It is very, 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 very good. And there's a bunch of combos you can add to it. Now, again, a cannon will be a bane to the Demon Prince, but let's get into it. So a Demon Prince for 235 points, you're going to get movement 8, weapon skill 9, ballistic skill 5, strength 6, toughness 5, 4 wounds, initiative 8, 5 attacks, leadership 9. You get the demonic attack special rule, demonic invulnerability, terror, which, who cares, 8th edition, and unbreakable. Which makes this thing, that's what kind of tips this guy over the line over to broken, as I'll explain in a second. So you can take 40 more points, which you're going to buy every time to give him wings. You can take Chaos Armor, which you're going to buy every time to give him a 4-up armor save. You can add extra to that. You can take magic items worth up to 25 points, but may take Chaos Mutations and powers worth up to 100 points. And then you can buy the marks. The Mark of Tzeentch costs 15. Other than that, they're similar to the Lord's Mark cost. And no, okay, we're not shuddering. Okay. And then you can take a level of wizard for 35 points. You can buy it up to 4 times. Typically, you would never do that. I mean, I shouldn't say never. I wouldn't ever personally do it. I never want to risk miscasting on a very expensive model. His job is to fly up the field, engage a big unit, hopefully the flank, but even the front's fine, and just win combat or lose combat and be unbreakable line. Now, let's talk about... Oh, should we get into the combos with this guy? This is interesting. No, okay, well, stay tuned to the end when we start talking about powers. Sorry, demonic powers and gifts is where the combos on this, or the Chaos Lord, for example, and the Demon Prince really come into play. Those are just basic stats right now. We did miss demonic... oh, wait, actually, there's a special rule. Demonic invulnerability was the 5-up demon save. 5-up, it's a ward save, 5-up. Okay, we have Chaos Dragons as a possible mount option. Strength 2 breath weapons with no... oh, they're 2-headed. Strength 2 breath weapons, normal saves allowed, or Strength 4 breath weapon. Yeah. Oh, something called just a demonic mount. Oh, I believe it's back in the day. We can buy Chaos Lords with slightly larger than horses. Strength and toughness 5, 2 attacks. Manticores we already talked about. Pelicans and Nurgle. Don't really see those too often. Disc of Tzeentch you're going to see quite a bit, actually. It's a war beast. Movement 1, but it flies. Strength and toughness 4, initiative 4, 3 attacks. But it's all about flying him around. We'll get into some combos with that guy at the end of this when we get into the magic stuff. So any more heroes worth talking about? Your sorcerers, 110 points base. You get how they work. I don't really like to use them that often. I think my character, because the army is it can be the way I like to play it is very elite. Playing here, you can be very elite. You can go even higher and be even more elite. But I like to play them as an elite, smaller army. You typically have a smaller model count. So not a whole lot of points for characters. So I like my level 4 wizard and my battle standard bearer, and that's it for characters, because you're going to spend a lot of points elsewhere. So core units, we have a couple of pages. We have the end all be all, the best of the army. No, well, okay, I'll be fair, he's the best. Warriors of Chaos at 14 points per model. You're getting a human stat line. I shouldn't say that. No. Human movement, standard movement, a 4-inch movement, weapon skill 5, ballistic skill 3, who cares? Strength and toughness 4, 1 wound, initiative 5, 2 attacks, leadership 8. Hand weapon and chaos armor base. So 14 points for solid stats and 4-up armor save. So already with just that alone, these are already one of the best fighting units in the game. I mean, like Source Warriors, another one that are pretty close in power in this regard. But okay, so special rules: we have Eye of the Gods for the expiring champion. That is your sergeant of the unit. So if he kills things and challenges and stuff, rolling for a bonus. Standard commands you can buy. You can take shields for 1 point per model. Additional hand weapons for 2 points per model. Great weapons for 3 points per model, and halberds for 3 points per model. Now, depending on if you want to purchase a Mark of the Gods, 2 points for Mark of Coin per model, 2 points for Tzeentch per model, 2 points for Nurgle per model, 1 point for Slanesh per model. It'll actually, in my opinion, it varies on what kind of equipment you want to buy. So if you want to take the Mark of Tzeentch, you definitely want to have a shield and hand weapon, because the Mark of Tzeentch is just going to give you a 6-up invulnerable save. Oh, sorry, a ward save. But the Mark of Tzeentch, it'll stack on your existing ward saves. And parry is a ward save. So if you have a hand weapon and shield, Mark of Tzeentch for 2 points per model gets you a 3-up armor save, and a 5-up parry save. That's pretty solid. You're going to spend 1 point for the shield and 2 points for the Mark of Zinch. So 17 points per model for that. It's not cheap, but it's gonna be defensive on a unit that is pretty killy. Now, if you want to go Mark of Khorne, you're gonna gain Frenzy. Now, there's all kinds of options there, right? You can go extra hand weapon and just get a crap ton of attacks. But an extra grit weapon attack or extra halberd attack is a very viable option. So if you're gonna go Mark of Khorne, I just don't recommend the shield. The last one, and probably definitely the best one competitively, is going to be the Mark of Nurgle. -1 to hit on weapon skill 5 models means almost everything in the game will be hitting them on 5s. Certain elite elven infantry will hit them on 4s. Characters will hit them on 4s. Just about everything else in the game hits them on 5s. Now, every book has every army has an exception. Like I'm trying to think, Bretonian Grail Knights will hit them on 4s. Nope. Bretonian Grail Knights hit them on 5s. Never mind. Okay, so off the top of my head, High Elf Swordmasters are weapon skill 6. They will hit Mark of Nurgle Warriors of Chaos on 4s. Everything else will hit them on 5s. And weapon skill 5 is that nice threshold. If you look at the chart, that's a nice, like it's a solid weapon skill. Many human characters only have weapon skill 5. So yeah, 2 points, Mark of Nurgle. Don't bother with the shield. You're not going to get hit. Take a great weapon, let them hit you, and just munch right through afterwards. That's the standard go-to if you want to talk super competitive. Mark of Nurgle, great weapon. What's that going to put you at? 19 points per model, but a solid troop choice. Or you can take Marauders. Marauders have the standard human stat line, except they have 1 better weapon skill, 1 better initiative, being 4s on both of those, at only 6 points per model. Now, they're really cheap. They're on 25 mil bases, which is the only downside of this unit. If they were on smaller bases, I'd say they'd be way better. But no, 6 points per model. Keep them cheap. You can buy all the marks, same point value. Though the Mark of Slaanesh gets a little bit more attractive here, being immune to a few things. That being said, it is 8th edition we're talking about, so you're not overly worried about psychology. So Mark of Nurgle is once again going to be your best bet. Mark of Zinch, probably never. Mark of Khorne's always pretty good because, I mean, you can get great weapons or flails on these guys. So Mark of Khorne isn't terrible. But with weapon skill 4 and the Mark of Nurgle, you're still going to do very well against most things. But I think the way I'd like to run these, I would think, I don't really run them too often, so I'd probably put, in my opinion, no mark on them. Keep them cheap, let them do the cheap job, or give them Mark of Khorne, Frenzy, and a Flail. Use that initiative 4, weapon skill 4, and just hopefully kill everything in the first round of combat. A great flanking unit. Yeah, Forsaken. These things are base 19 points a model. They come with Frenzy built in, Freakish Mutations, immune to psychology, and their attacks are D3 instead of 1. And they can buy all the various marks of whatever. They come with Chaos Armor. These are like the chosen. They have this rule called Freakish Mutations. These aren't troop choices. Interesting. I don't think I've ever really used these. What is this Freakish Mutation rule? As we flip, try to... No, Forsaken. Freakish Mutations. If a unit of Forsaken are in base combat with 1 or more enemy units at the start of the combat phase, roll d6 and consult the chart. Okay. If you roll a 1, all Forsaken have always strikes last, so it's a bad thing. 2, armor piercing. 3, always strikes first. 4, poison. 5, a 5-up regeneration. If you roll a 6, you gain killing blow. Not bad. Oh, interesting. You're getting an additional special rule if you upgrade them to the various marks. So Khorne also, because you already have Frenzy built in, will also give you Hatred. Zinch will give you Magic Resistance 2. Nurgle gives them Fear. And Slaanesh gives them Swift Stride. Oh, and their movement's 6. Okay. I was going to say, what job are they going to do that the Warriors of Chaos themselves aren't going to do better? I just saw it. Keep them as a smaller squad. Make them Marcus Lanesh, Swift Stride, Movement 6. Go for long bomb flanks and stuff. But obviously a unit you don't necessarily have to have. I think at the studio we later had like 5 or 10 of them. Okay, continuing on with core, we have Chaos Warhounds. 6 points per model, movement 7, weapon skill 4, strength toughness 3, 1 wound, initiative 3, 1 attack, leadership 5, and they are war beasts. They can buy Scaly Hide for 1 point or mutant poisons for 1, so gain poison attacks. And for 2 points per model, you can buy Vanguard for them. I don't know how I feel about them. I don't want them without Vanguard. And 8 points a model, I guess, isn't bad. Yeah, they're pretty good for screening, especially if you want to use faster things. The army doesn't really have to play a whole lot of finesse. Basically, a big horde of Nurgle Great Weapon Warriors of Chaos doesn't need the redirectors that these Warhounds are, because they just want to go headlong into the fight against anything. Chaos Chariots are also a core choice. These things were so much better in the past. They're still very good in 8th edition. They just suffer from being a chariot in 8th edition. They're 110 points with a 3-up armor save, strength and toughness 5, and 4 wounds. So already solid. They are scythed, and there's 2 Chaos Charioteers on them, and each Charioteer has a halberd and 2 attacks per model. So 4 more strength 5 attacks, plus the horses, and then you can buy the mark. I guess the Mark of Nurgle or the Mark of Khorne are your best bets, but maybe even just Mark of Nurgle for that weapon skill 5. Yeah, Mark of Nurgle is probably, once again, the best bet. I like these, even a little more expensive, for flankers, redirectors, and I know, I think they do well going into small units by themselves. And 2 or 3 of them charging, even though that's very expensive, can even do well against other units, hordes of infantry, so long as they're not steadfast, which they're going to be. But yeah, Chaos Chariots are just, they're solid, they're very good, and well worth 110 points per model, and their core. They just suffer from being a chariot in 8th edition. Marauder Horsemen are your marauders on horses, obviously. So same stats as a marauder, can buy the same marks, obviously. They come with just a hand weapon, and they are fast cav. Now they can buy shields or light armor for 1 point per model, throwing axes and javelins, spears and flails. Now this is the era of, so in 8th edition, it's kind of, there's a point where it kind of stopped working this way, but basically, if these models buy light armor, they lose their fast cav special rule. That does go away in the later books, like Dark Elves. Well, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, so you're not going to buy light armor. Shields aren't terrible buy at 1 point per model, getting that 5 out of save because they are mounted. But my go-to use is just spears or javelins or both. Throw that weapon, throw that javelin, kill off a thing or 2. Their job is to redirect, but more importantly, their job is to hunt other redirectors and war machines. So Marauder Horsemen at 14 points per model, I think are kind of, I wouldn't say, no, I'm gonna say, especially for my playstyle, in my opinion, they're kind of necessary. Now you don't need them. You can play the very much just a big old brick and run forward and just plow through everything. But these things help deal with the things your opponent is going to do to slow you down. Moving on to, he's half our time already. Okay, moving on to special. We're going to start off with the Hellstriders of Slaanesh. 19 points a model. Little demons on, what are they called again? Steeds of Slaanesh. They're 10-inch move. Spears and shield, 19 points per model, fast cav, they cause fear, they have the Mark of Slaanesh, the mounts are poison, the mounts have demonic attacks, the mounts are armor piercing, they have the Soul Hunter special rule. I would love to tell you what that does. Oh God. Oh God, bear with me. Found it. Soul Hunters. When they destroy unit in close combat, they gain a bonus the remainder of the game. Bonus depends on how many they've destroyed over the course of the battle. Okay. So if they destroy one unit, they gain Devastating Charge. If they destroy 2 units, they gain Stubborn. If they destroy 3 units, they gain a 4-up ward save. I don't know. I don't see it. Okay, so my gut says I don't know. I don't see it, like I just said, right? But I'm looking at them, comparing them to Marauder Horsemen. You're paying 5 points more a model. They're going to be faster. They're going to cause fear. Who cares? 8th edition. No, I'm not seeing it. No, no, just not seeing it. Yeah, so I don't know what the value health striders give you in Warriors of Chaos Army. Those are unfamiliar. Those are the humans riding the steeds of Slanesh. Oh, Chosen are here. Okay, so Chosen are available. 18 points a model. Weapon skill 6, initiative 5, 2 attacks per model. Oh, Warriors of Chaos also have 2 attacks per model. If I didn't say that. Ooh, goodness. It's been a while. So Chosen have better weapon skill, and that's it. Oh, for the Warriors of Chaos. For 4 points more a model? Okay. You can buy all the same equipment. I don't... What? No. Is that it? Are they lit? Is there no... Okay. Hand weapon, chaos armor, Eye of the Gods, rewards of chaos. Okay, they have the rewards of chaos special rule. This better be worth 4 points more per model. I hate the layout. I hate it so much. Warriors of Chaos. Oh, here you go. Immediately before rolling off, the seal goes first. Each unit of Chosen must roll 3d6, discard a single dice you're choosing, and consult the Eye of the Gods table. If the unit of Chosen... Oh, okay. So you're going to... Nah, that's unfortunate. So you're going to gain a special Eye of the Gods table buff. There's some extra caveats for Demonhood, Spawnhood. But you roll 3 dice and you pick the combo of any 2. That's actually not terrible. The problem is you're paying 4 points more per model for this. On an already expensive model, but the problem is they're also in special. So if you spend like minimum on core, like say Marauders and like Marauder Horsemen, spend 500 points on that, then you can buy a really good Chosen unit, and then roll for a random upgrade. I just think the fact that they're special, even though they're probably worth every point, is going to make you pretty much not use these that often competitively. Because you're not efficiently allocating your points. That being said, I mean, 4 points, 18 points per model for weapon skill 6. I mark a Nurgle on that. Chaos Knights are 40 points per model, the exact same stats as the Chaos, Warrior of Chaos. You have a Chaos Steed, which is Strength 4. They come with Chaos Armor, Shield, and Barding. They cause fear, and they can buy all the marks. They can have a lance or an ensorcelled weapon. Ensorcelled weapon, I think, was just +1 strength. I can't remember. Yeah, +1 strength and magical. I would probably buy that most of the time. It's 1 point more than the lance, but I mean a lance isn't a terrible option. But they do suffer from being 40-point models. Wait, more than that. They suffer from being 40-point cav models in 8th edition. So in previous editions, these were king. Not so much in 8th. But that being said, they're cool models. Use them up. Chaos Ogres. Okay. 33 points a model. Movement 6. Weapon skill 3. Ballistic skill 2. Strength toughness 4. 3 wounds. 2 initiative. 3 attacks. Leadership 7. They have Ogre Charge. If you did the Ogre review, you know what that does. They come with hand weapon, heavy armor, and they cause fear. They can buy great weapons or additional hand weapons, and all the marks. So Marker Corn costs 4, Zinch costs 4, Nurgle costs 4. They're only weapon skill 3. So if you're getting hit by weapon skill 3 or lower, you're getting hit on by 5s. Weapon skill 4 is hit them on 4s instead of 3s. It's not that big of a difference, but you're spending 4 points per model, but you're also using a lot less models. I've had some success using squads of 6 of these as flankers and stuff. They tend to draw a lot of firepower and die. I don't know how necessary they are in Warriors of Chaos. I think you're like the Warriors of Chaos themselves, like the actual Chaos Warriors, are just so good. You want to put a lot of points into them. Because there's another unit for 60 points a model, the Dragon Ogres. They have movement 7, strength 5, toughness 4, 4 wounds, initiative 2, 3 attacks, initiative 8, and they're monstrous beasts. Scaly skin 5+, hand weapon and light armor style stacked with a scaly skin, give them a 4-up save. Storm Rage means they're immune to lightning. And then you buy additional hand weapons, halberds, or great weapons. This is another one of those things where, yeah, they're really, really, really cool models. And they're going to go do some flanking and stuff like that for you, but they suffer from being cav. They suffer, okay, I'm going to rephrase that whole sentence. They suffer from not being infantry in 8th edition. That being said, I mean, you can just picture like a Warriors Chaos army can be like Marauders or all Warriors or just like these monstrous things like Ogres and Dragon Ogres. Just you can just do so many things or so many themes or so many styles. But from a review standpoint, we're going to stay competitive. So they don't have a lot of value other than there's some value to, I don't know, I haven't played this specifically a lot. There might be some argument of using Chariots as your core and buying Ogres and Dragon Ogres in special and like play the movement phase instead of doing that one big block. Oh, I think we're shuddering. I hope the video is not shuddering in the actual recording, but well, hopefully everything's fine. So yeah, there's some talk of like going theming or skewing into just speed. And then your speed, because your Warriors of Chaos is pretty tough and hits really hard. So it's not just Elven speed, it's hard-hitting speed. We also have Chaos Trolls. Troll stat line. Movement 6, weapon skill 3, strength 5, toughness 4, 3 wounds, initiative 1, 3 attacks, initiative 4. A monster's infantry, fear, stupidity, regeneration, troll vomit. So they're going to give up all their attacks to do one hit that ignores armor saves. It's a solid unit at only 35 points per model, but they have that leadership 4 liability, so you have to keep your general nearby to keep them moving forward. That being said, for that reason, I don't like it. However, there's a named character, Trog. You can make a pretty sweet troll list with a named character, but we don't want to talk about that because we can't really do that. I personally like named characters. A Chimera is a 230-point monster that is in the special choice, not rare, which is nice. Guys, I do apologize if this video quality isn't the best, but I can't know yet, unfortunately. So I'm not going to stop recording. I'm going to keep on going. So Chimera has movement 6, weapon skill 4, strength 6, toughness 5, 4 wounds, initiative 2, 6 attacks, leadership 5. So those stats are solid. Weak of the leadership. Like, actually, that's a lot of... That's very offensive. You have Thunderstomp and everything. It's 2 still. But it's not very defensive with only 4 wounds at 230 points. You have the Fientail Fly, large target, scaly skin 4+, and terror special rules. You can buy Flaming Breath for 30 additional points. It's 30 points. It's really expensive, making this model 260 points. But a breath weapon attack is so good. Regenerating Flesh for 15 points, and then Venomous Ooze for 15 points. So you can make this thing pretty hefty in points. But let's figure out what she does. Oh man, that Trog model is beautiful though. Sorry, I stopped on the page of art. There's that troll boss, Trog. Trog? Oh, sorry, Throg. Throg, King of Trolls. I have a feeling this video is going to be longer than I intended. We'll see. No, it's definitely going to go over. No, Chimera, okay. Fientail. Gains D3 additional attacks. You roll to hit with them separately. The attacks are +1 to hit. If the attacks comes, or it's fighting something in his rear. The breath attack is strength 4. For 15 points, you gain the regeneration special, which is 4+. That can actually keep you alive against cannons. And then Venomous Ooze will give you poison attack special ability. So if you're going to buy a Chimera, I very much recommend buying the Regenerating Flesh. How many points is it? 15 points? Yeah, 15 points. That to me is not auto-include. You're going to gain yourself that nice 4-up regen. And then hell, I say risk it. Go ahead and spend 30 more points, buy the Flaming Breath, and like fly around, charge when you're ready to charge, but throw that Flaming Breath into that 8-inch teardrop template in the flank of a horde. It will do a terrible amount of work. But you do have that Leadership 5 liability for panicking stuff. But the army's kind of small, so it probably won't be that big a deal. Just don't get over aggressive with it. Don't charge until it's time to charge. I think I would add this competitively. Maybe. It's hard to say. Type of the points in. This is one of the first things I would cut if I needed to cut points. But I see its uses. I mean, 6 plus D3 strength 6 attacks and Thunderstomp. It's gonna add weight to the combat. And it has a 4 armor save, and you have 4 regen after that. Yeah, it's a solid unit. Gore Beast Chariot is, if you buy the Chariot kit, you can make another another kit in the same kit, I believe, called the Gore Beast. It's just a Chariot with a Gorilla Rhino thing pulling it. The Gore Beast has 3 strength 5 attacks, and it has movement 6. So it's going to be slower. It does cost fear and take all the marks. Other than that, it's 130 points. It's only 20 points more than the regular trait, and then it moves over the special slot. But with Halberds, you're having what? Looks like 7 strength 5 attacks, and it has its side impact attacks. Maybe you give it Mark of Corn and make that 10 strength 5 attacks. Doesn't seem terrible. Or you give it Mark of Nurgle and just give it -1 to hit. Yeah, a solid thing. The Chaos Warshine is something I never really gave it proper due respect. It's 125 points. It's a Chariot with a 4-up armor save, toughness 5, and 4 wounds. It's being dragged by, like, basically Marauders. They're called Chariot Bearers, or Shrine Bearers. It moves 6. It has D6 plus 2 attacks. Can take all the marks. Has the War Platform, Giver of Glory, and Fear special rules in favor of the Ruinous Powers. But what it actually does is only 125 points, and it's been a while since I've seen this in action. Favor of the Ruinous Powers. If a friendly model within 12 one or more Chaos Warshines rolls on the Eye of the Gods table, he rolls an additional D6 and discards a single dice of his choosing. Now, that is so good. The problem is you don't typically roll in that chart too often. But it has an innate bound spell, power level 4, called Giver of Glory. It's an augment spell. It targets D3 friendly models with the Eye of the God special roll within 12. The targets of the spell immediately roll in the Eye of the Gods table. Remember, they will also benefit from the Chaos Warshine's favor of Ruinous Power special ability. So D3 units will gain the ability to roll in the chart, adding an additional die, picking 2. And it has a 4-up ward save. This thing to me is not auto-include. Just handing out those buffs every turn puts the clock on your opponent, and they're gonna get nervous and like, I have to kill this unit before it gets too buffed up. I think I back in the day, like a few years ago when I was playing a lot of Warriors of Chaos, I never brought this. I never saw its potential. I think that was a big mistake on my part. I think this thing is fan-freaking-tastic, and you can still buy it if you want to do a Warriors of Chaos army. And it's 125 points. Like, I'm bringing it 100% of the time if I'm, like, trying to win. All right, where did we leave off? Oh, run rare. Hell Cannon! We have a piece of artillery for the Warriors of Chaos. So it is a Hell Cannon. It has movement 3. It has got Dwarf Crew, so the Dwarf Crew have movement 3. It is Strength 5, Toughness 6, 5 wounds, and 5 attacks with Leadership 4. The Hell Cannon actually will fight and chomp things in close combat. The Handlers are Leadership 9, so it keeps under control. But it has a bunch of special rules. Cage Fury, Demonic Construction, Doomfire, Terror Unbreakable, 210 points. It's hefty, but good. Let's go find out what the Hell Cannon does. Okay, at the start of the Cage Fury special rule is at the start of your turn, if the Hell Cannon is not in combat, take a leadership test. If the test is passed, the Hell Cannon acts as normal. If the test is failed, keep in mind the leadership 9 because of the crew. Pivot the Hell Cannon and face the closest enemy unit, and then is subject to the random movement 3d6. Maybe just moves that way. Hell Cannon has a natural armor save of 4+ and a 5 aboard save because it's a demon. And when it fires like a stone thrower. However, it has a minimum range of 12, a maximum range of 60. It is strength 10 under the hull and strength 5 for the rest of the template. Amazing. It is a move or fire, so you want to make sure you pass the leadership test, because if that Hellcan moves on forward, no shooting. It does multiple wounds, D6, and it is slow to fire, so no standing and shooting with Hellfire. Any unit suffers one or more casualties from the Doomfire must take a panic test as if it suffered 25% casualties with a -1 to the leadership. And then if it has its own misfire chart, if it does misfire. And I believe there was something, I feel like there was something extra. Like it interacted with wizards in some way. I feel like I'm missing something. I remember keeping it 24 inches away from a wizard all the time. Okay, well, let's read the misfire chart. Maybe there's something in there. So if you misfire, roll d6. On a 1, it's free at last. The demon breaks his bonds. Every unit within 3d6 suffers d6 strength 5 hits, and then remove the hell cannon. Slurp. The hell cannon sucks down his own handlers into the furnace. Remove the hell cannon's remaining chaos dwarf handlers, and then it's going to run around with its leadership 4. And then, rah! An enraged demon inside the hell cannon goes berserk. Remove d3 hell. I missed one. That's number 4. Remove d3 hell cannon's dwarf handlers. So zzz is number 3. Hellcannon fires a great pulse of raw magic. There it is. All wizards, friend and foe, within 24 must immediately roll a leadership test or suffer a miscast. Ignore any instructions to lose dice in the pool. Okay, so miscast, but no dice reduction. Okay, so maybe I was overcautious with this thing. You have to misfire and then roll a 3 on the chart. And then 5, it's going to move forward 3d6. If you roll 6, it counts as a direct hit, and doubling the strength of the hits to a maximum 10. So everything on the template becomes strength 10. Oh, and the hell cannon cannot fire for the rest of the game. No, you just want to send it forward and send it into combat. So it's artillery that's also a monster. It's kind of a auto include. Oh, okay. Oh, there's so many more rare. The Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. 215 points. Strength 6, toughness 5, 6 wounds, initiative 4, 5 attacks, initiative 9. Immune psychology, large target, scaly skin, storm rage, terror. Great weapon for 12 points. It's too expensive. Has no value here. Unless storm rage does something absolutely amazing, I'm not seeing any value on this thing. I'd rather spend those points on the Chimera. So many named characters too in this book. Storm Rage. 2 aborts against lightning attacks. If they ever get hit by lightning-based attack, they gain frenzy. Now, not even worth talking about. The Shaggoth is far too expensive for 5 strength 6 attacks. Plus Thunderstomp. No. Alright, Chaos Giant, 200 points. Oh, it's a giant. That can take marks. Okay. I don't know how the Mark of Corn's really going to help him. But it's a giant. Chaos Spawn, 50 points, random move 2d6. Attacks is d6 plus 1. It's unbreakable. Leadership 10 causes fear. You can take all the marks, but the marks, the Mark of Zinj, for example, costs 20 points. The rest of them are 10 points. 5 for Mark of Corn. It's not bad, it's not great. I don't see its value. Rare units, Skull Crushers of Corn, 75 points. These are on Juggernauts of Corn. Juggernauts of Corn are monstrous cavalry. Movement 7, strength 5, toughness 4, 3 wounds, 3 attacks. Yeah, you get some special rules here. They cause fear. They're gonna have a good save. So they're very, very expensive monstrous cavalry. They'll get work done, but you're gonna spend a lot of points on them. A Slaughter Brute is that one at the time of this book is one of the newer monsters. 205 points. It is strength 6. Sorry, movement 6, strength 7, toughness 5, 5 wounds, initiative 3, Vortex, leadership 5, and made by extra claws for 20 points. It causes terror, has skill skin 4+. It has the runes of binding and the unbound special rule. Now, this thing costs 205 points. I remember this thing not being interesting. Same as the next one, the Mueller of the Vortex Beast. So it can be bound to a character, use the character's weapon skill and leadership instead of its own. If the master is slain, the slaughter bird has random movement too. So yeah, it's a cool idea. It's just a little random. Too random if the character is bound to dies. You have to pick a friendly lord or hero, and your opponent has to know which character you're binding to it. And it's kind of like a pet. It's a cool idea, but rare, 205 points. I don't see its value. The Chimera just gives you so much more. Hell Cannon gives you so much more. I mean, I'd rather spend all those points on Skull Crushers to do the same job, which is to run in and do a bunch of damage, right? And finally, we have the Mueller. I think it's finally. Yeah, finally the Mueller Vortex Beast for 240 points. It has movement 6, weapon skill 3, strength toughness 5, wounds 5, initiative 3, attacks is D6+2, leadership 8. So we're getting good leadership there. Regeneration 5+, skill skin 4+, terror. Attacks are D6+2. I already said that. Large target in Aura of Mutation. Now, is this one better? Oh, it's okay. So, Aura of Mutation gives me an 8 bounce spell. It's a direct damage with a range of 18. Roll a d6 and consult the table below to discover how many toughness tests the target must take. As long as any lasting mutations have occurred for each toughness test failed, the target suffers a single wound with no armor saves allowed. What, that's it? No, there's a whole chart here. I must be missing something. Roll d6 and consult the table below to discover how many. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay, so if you roll d6, and then if you roll 1, they're going to take d6 toughness tests and gains fear for the rest of the game. Because they get hideously disfigured. If you roll a 2, they gain troll brains. They take d6 toughness tests and gain stupidity for the rest of the game. 3, you take d6 toughness tests. And after these tests, one of the unit's characteristics, roll d6 to randomly determine what it is increased by 1. Oh, it increased by 1 to a maximum of 10. And then you roll d6 for another characteristic, and it is decreased by 1. Ooh, that's random and terrifying. If you roll 4, d6 toughness tests. After that, you roll another d6 on a 3 more. Choose another enemy within 6 of the initial target, and take d6 toughness tests. Keep rolling until nobody can take it. And you only get hit by that particular one once per phase. You can't keep bouncing back and forth the same units. Maelstrom of Change. Place a small round template over the target and scatter a d6. If his roll template does not scatter, every model underneath the template must take a toughness test. And then Spawn Change, you roll 6. Every model in the target unit must take a toughness test. The target suffers 1 or more unsaved wound. You can immediately place a new chaos spawn anywhere within 6 of the target, at least 1 inch away. Though that's not bad. Of any unit and is impassable or impassable terrain. If the target suffers no unsaved wounds, if you do not have a spare, so the target takes no unsaved wounds, you do not have a spare spawn. Okay, it's too random. It's too random. It doesn't do enough that I would say I would bring this. However, it's got a cool model and it's 240 points. Like it's a monster. It does other things, but bound spells are not reliable. Either you're throwing 6 dice or they're getting dispelled. There are better things to throw your dice at. So 240 points and drains your magic dice. I'm not seeing it. That's unfortunate. So those are the units we're going to talk about. Oh man, there's so much more. Because once I find the correct page, we're going to talk about items and lores and gifts. Okay, we're going to start off with the lores. The lore of Tzeentch. It's so bad. It's so bad. If you have the mark of Tzeentch, you can take the lore of Tzeentch. The lore attribute is, when a spell from the lore of Tzeentch is successfully cast, make a note of how many power dice were 6. After resolving the spell's effect, you can immediately add a single power dice your army pool for each 6 that was rolled to cast that spell. Only the wizard that added these power dice to the pool can use them. Boo. That's boring. And not that good. The signature spell is the Burning Fire of Tzeentch. Sorry, the Blue Fire of Tzeentch. It's casting a value of 5. Magic Missile, 24-inch range, D6 strength, D6 hits with the Warp Flame special rule. You extend the range to 48. If it does so, it's an 8 to cast. Here's what Warp Flame does. At the end of a phase, which unit suffers 1 or more unsaved wound from attack from the special rule during a phase, takes a toughness test. If the test is failed, it immediately suffers D3 wounds with no armor saves allowed. If the test is passed, all models in the unit gain a 6 of regeneration for the rest of the game. Any models that already have regeneration special rule will gain +1 to regeneration. So all your various fires are going to add Warp Flame to your units. If you try to focus on a unit over multiple turns or multiple spells, multiple turns because you do it at the end of the phase, you can end up stacking good regeneration on your opponent's units. The spells are all kind of mediocre too. I don't even want to read them, but I'm going to. Treason is each casting on 7. It's a hex with range 20. It's a hex with a range of 24. Until the start of the caster's next phase, the target must use the lowest leadership value of the unit, and cannot use the general's Inspiring Presence or Hold Your Ground special rule. You extend the range to 48 for 10+. That spell's not terrible if you're heavy magic or shooting. Other than that, it's once you're in combat, you're probably gonna win. Pink Fire Tzeentch, casting 8, direct damage. Place a teardrop in base contact with the wizard, and roll artillery die. Move it forward. Each model underneath the template suffers a strength D6 hit with Warp Flame. If it misfires, roll the template does not move and remains where it is. So it's it's like a flame cannon spell. Random strength. That part's kind of cool, but it's the Warp Flame special rule, so you can end up killing D3 more, which is devastating to, like, say, Cav. But if you start hitting, if you want to, like, whittle down your opponent's big horde, and you start hitting with your Tzeentch spells, you're more likely to be adding regeneration to the unit than anything. Bolt of Change is casting 8, Magic Missile 24. D6 +4 strength, single hit, multiple wounds D3, and Warp Flame. And it goes through like a bolt thrower. Glean Magic, direct damage, 18-inch range, 8 to cast. The caster and the target both roll D6 and add their wizard levels to the score. If the target's higher, nothing happens. Otherwise, the target suffers a strength 3 hit with a Warp Flame special rule. Why is that not on silent? There's more to this one. If a wizard's hit, it loses 1 wizard level to a minimum of 0 and forgets 1 randomly determined spell. If the caster does not already know this spell, he immediately gains it. So you glean you steal his magic. It's kind of cool. Still not worth taking a lore. Tzeentch's Firestorm, 13 to cast. Direct damage, small round template anywhere within 30, and then scatters D6. All models hit by the template suffer a strength D6 hit with the Warp Flame special rule. You can choose to create a larger one with a large template on a 16+ to cast. However, if you do, it scatters 2d6 instead of d6. Infernal Gateway is a 16 to cast, direct damage, range 24, suffers 2d6 strength, 2d6 hits with a Warp Flame special rule. Roll for the strength first. If 11 or 12 is rolled for the strength, the hits are resolved at strength 10. But the unit suffers 3d6 hits instead of 2d6. I would personally just rather take the Allure of Fire, to be honest. The Allure of Nurgle. Lore attribute is when the spell from the Allure of Nurgle is successfully cast, roll a d6 when resolving the spell effect. On a roll of 6, the wizard's wounds and toughness are both increased by 1 for the remainder of the game. That's kind of cool. It doesn't happen often, but it's kind of cool. The signature spell is called Stream of Corruption. It's a direct damage spell. You place a teardrop in base contact with the wizard. It doesn't move. All models underneath the template suffer must pass a toughness test or suffer a wound with armor says allowed. It's actually not bad, especially if you're really close to the enemy. But for most of the game, you can't cast it because you're so far away. Miasma Pestilence for a 5+ cast is an augment spell with a range of 18. All enemy units in base contact with the target unit. Wait, what? Oh, you put it on your own unit. All enemy units in base contact with the unit with the spell on them reduce their weapon skill initiative by 1 to a minimum of 1. Ooh, that's really good lowering weapon skill when you have the mark of Nurgle everywhere. The wizard can choose to cast one or more powerful version of the spell instead of reduce. The wizard can choose to cast a more powerful version of the spell that instead reduces the weapon skill and initiative in many enemies in base contact by D3. Now, let's think about that. It's casting value 10 to do that. Think about it for a second. If you have weapon skill 3 and you're fighting Warriors of Nurgle weapon skill 5, and then you have -1 hit with Mark of Nurgle, and you make them just -1 weapon skill, making them weapon skill 2, they're hitting your warriors on 6s. Ridiculous. But it's more defensive, and again, it's going to be when you get into close combat. So the signature and the first spell are really late game type spells. As is the next one, Blades of Putrefaction, casting value 8, is augment spell, range of 12. Pick a unit, the game poison attacks. If you already have poison attacks, it's poison on a 5+. Okay. Curse of the Leper, really good spell, casting value 10. Cast any unit, friend or foe, within 18. If it's a friend, it's augment. If it's a foe, it's X. You increase toughness by D3 or reduce toughness by D3. You choose to extend the range to 36, but the casting value becomes 13. That spell is amazing. Rancid Visitations at a 10 to class, 10 to cast. Magic Missile, range 18, inflicts D6 strength 5 hits. Target must then immediately pass a toughness test or suffer a further D6 strength 5 hits. And you keep on doing this until the toughness test is passed. So you get Curse of the Leper on a unit, lower their toughness, and then hit them with Rancid Visitations. You can keep doing damage until the entire unit is just dead. Fleshy Abundance, casting value 11, augment, range of 18 until the start of the cast of next magic phase. The target has regeneration 5+. Fantastic spell. If it already has regeneration, add +1 to regeneration. 2 maximum 2+. The wizard can have it affect all friendly units within 18, making the casting value 22. And then Plague Wind, Magical Vortex, range of play, 15 to cast. Place a small round template base. It's, you know how it is. Magical Vortex, send it on forward. But how this one works is, any model touched by the template, it takes a toughness test. Or suffers a wound. So a typical Vortex. So Lord Nurgle is pretty solid. Here's a theme here. This book, go Nurgle. Lord Slanesh. Man, I remember this lore very differently, but it's not the worst, but it's not the best. So the lore attribute is when a spell from the Lord Slanesh is successfully cast, roll d6 for each unsaved wound caused by the spell. For each 6 that's rolled, the wizard weapon skill initiative attacks is increased by 1 until the start of the caster's next magic phase. The signature spell is Lash of Slanesh, casting 6 direct damage, 24-inch range. Extended straight line, 24-inch in length. Any model whose base falls under the line suffers a strength 3 hit with armor piercing. Acquiescence at Hex, 24-inch range, casting value 6. The target gains always strikes last and random movement d6. You can't charge. The wizard can extend the range to 48, making it 9 to cast. That spell is for a certain playstyle. That is so good at just controlling your enemy. Pavanius Lesh, direct damage 24, 7 to cast. You target a single enemy model, even a character in a unit. It successfully cast, it must take a leadership test on 3d6 or suffer a wound with no armor saves allowed. That's it. You can increase the range to 48, making it 10 to cast. Do 1 wound to a character. Hysterical Frenzy, 8 to cast. Remains in play. 24-inch range, augment, or hex. On a friendly unit, you gain... Wait. Okay, here we go. For the duration of the spell, the target gains a Frenzy special rule, which is not lost if the unit is defeated in close combat. If the unit already has the Frenzy special rule, it gains +2 attacks instead of +1. In addition, for the duration of the spell, the target of Hysterical Frenzy suffers D6 strength 3 hits at the start of each of the caster's magic phases. So you can put on a friend or foe. Interesting. So you can give them more attacks, but I think the idea there is chaff with bad leadership. You give them that don't want to charge. You give them frenzy, and they probably have to charge into their own death. But taking D6 strength 3 hits and it remains in play at the start of the magic phase is not terrible. Slicing Shards is 10 to cast. It is a magic missile with a range of 24. It takes D6 strength 4 armor piercing hits. The target then must immediately pass the leadership test or suffer a further D6 strength 4 hits. Keep on doing it until they're dead. They'll combine nicely with the Lore of Death, where you lower their leadership. Phantasmagoria is a casting value 10 hex with a range of 24. Here we go. The target must roll an additional D6 whenever taking a leadership test. Goes pretty good with slicing shards. The caster can choose to have the spell target all enemies in 24. When it's casting value 20. Interesting. Cacophonic Choir is a hex with a range of 12. The target takes 2d6 hits that wound on a 4+ with no armor saves allowed. Not bad. Short range, but not bad. If at least one unsaved wound is caused, the target gains the Always Strikes Last and Random Movement D6. The wizard can choose to have the spell target all enemies within 12. If he does so, the casting value is increased to 24. Okay, I can see some finesse here with Slaanesh. That can be really annoying to play against and be very, very powerful. But it's going to take a lot of high brain power to really make it work, right? However, while that is pretty good, Nurgle, just run forward like a screaming... Just run forward. Run forward, Nurgle, don't have to think. Okay, Chaos Mutations and Powers. Okay, these are things you can buy as upgrades on units. I believe you only buy one per army. Yeah. Okay, so we have the Demon Blade for 50 points. It's a magic weapon. You gain D6 plus 3 attacks instead of your normal attack profile. For every 1 to hit in close combat, the hit is resolved against the character itself. And the character can never roll ones. Collar of Corn, 45 points. Demon of Corn with a Demon of Corn with a model of I can't even speak. Demon of Corn with a mark of corn only. You gain magic resistance 3 for 45 points. Unholy Strike for 35 points. Instead of striking normally, the character can choose to make a single attack. If he does so, the attack hits. And resolve that double the character's strength with multiple wounds D3. Not seeing it. Flaming Breath for 30 points. You gain a strength 4 breath attack. Super good with a character on a dragon who already has his own strength 4 breath attack. Then you have your strength 4 breath attack. You can do some serious breath damage. 25 points for a Chaos Familiar. It counts as an arcane item as well. The character adds +1 to all his channeling attempts and knows 1 extra spell than normal. I think that's solid. I think it's really good. Scaled Skin for 20 points is you gain a 5-up Scaly Skin armor save, which stacks with other things. So, for example, you can have a Chaos Sorcerer with Chaos Armor and Scaly Skin, or Scaled Skin, with a 2-up armor save. For 20 points, that Scaled Skin. Like, you're going to have Scaled Skin in every list. The Allure of Slaanesh for 15 points. Demons of Slaanesh with the mark of Slaanesh. Opponent... We're talking Demon Princes here. Any opponent wishing to strike a character in close combat must first pass the leadership test. If the test has failed, you cannot make any close combat attacks that phase. This does not affect attacks that do not roll to hit. Poison Slime for 50 points. You get a 5, so you get poison attacks and a 5 ward save against poison attacks. Acid Ichor for 10 points. Whenever this character suffers an unsaved wound in close combat, the model that inflict a hit must pass an initiative test or suffer a strength 4 hit. Burning Body. You gain flaming attacks and a 5 ward save against fire. Soul Feeder. This is a good one. It works for all the Demon Prince. Roll a d6 for every unsaved wound inflicted by the character in close combat. For each roll of 6, he immediately regains a lost wound. Pretty good on an Unbreakable Demon Prince. Just he's slowly going to chip down, but he'll heal back up. Third Eye of Tzeentch for 10 points. A character rerolls ward saves of 1. Okay. So you get, like, say, a Chaos Lord on a Disc of Tzeentch with the Mark of Tzeentch and, say, like, the Talisman of Preservation. So now he has a 3-up ward save, rerolling 1s. And he's flying around doing whatever he needs to do. It's such a powerful combo. 3-up ward save, rerolling 1s. Again, I haven't done it often. Or ever, actually. It's just too powerful. Nurgle's raw, 10 points. Demon Nurgle is a mark of Nurgle only. At the start of every magic phase, every model in base contact with a mark suffers a single strength 1 hit with no armor saves allowed. And then for 5 points, the hideous visage, I can't say the word. The character has the fierce special rule. However, models can never use the character's leadership. And then we go on to magic items. Hellfire Sword for 65 points. You have the flame attacks and multiple wounds D3 special rules. No armor saves can be taken against the sword. After all close combat blows have been struck, roll D6 for every foe slain by the Hellfire Sword. On a roll of a 6, the slain foe's body explodes, inflicting a further strength 6, D6 strength 4 hits on the enemy unit with the flaming attacks special rule. Unsaved wounds inflicted this way count towards combat result. At the end of each level this turn, roll D6. On a 1, he suffers 1 wound with no armor saves allowed. It's too random for me. But watching your opponent potentially explode because you roll a bunch of 6s. Like if you kill 2-3 guys and roll 2-3 6s, and then you do 2-3 D6 more strength 4 hits. That's combat winning. That's game winning. It's too random for me. But maybe I don't know. The lulz, maybe just for the lulz, it's almost worth it just for the potential. Sword of Change for 30 points. If the enemy character or monster is slayed by the Sword of Change in close combat, roll D6. On a roll of 4+, the model is transformed into a chaos spawn under control of the model with the Sword of Change. 30 points to 50-50. Gain a chaos spawn if you kill a monster or character with the sword. That's never good. I mean, it's terrible. The Filth Mace, mark of Nurgle, only 30 points. Close combat attacks made with the Filth Mace have the poison attack special rule. Once the wielder has killed an enemy model in close combat, he immediately gains a terror special rule from the start of the close combat phase, friend or foe, and all subsequent attacks made with the Filth Mace that result in a successful poison attack have the multiple wounds D3. So basically, your poison attacks the ones that roll 6 to hit will do D3 extra damage. Other than that, it's not that interesting. Helm of Many Eyes, 25 points. The bear with the helm of many eyes counts as armor save as being 1 higher than normal. In addition, the bear has always strikes first and stupidity. So the helm of Many Eyes is going to be on that Chaos Lord on the disc. Sorry, my nose is itchy. I don't do anything. It's just actually itchy. So +1 armor save, always strikes first. You already have a crazy high initiative. You probably have a halberd or a magic weapon. Stupidity, your leadership is 9, so you're fine. So you have Chaos Armor, which is 4 up. You're mounted for 3 up. This is going to give you your 2 up. Then you have your 3 up rerolling 1's ward save. This guy gets work done. The Skull of Catan for 15 points, an arcane item. The bearer of the skull can choose to consult it before attempting to channel power dice. If he does so, roll 6 dice instead of 1. If he does consult the skull, he's much more leadership for the rest of the turn. Or rest of the game. Oh, wait. If it's ever reduced to 0, he's immediately removed as a casualty. A wizard with the Mark of Tzeentch may not reroll channeling results of 1 when using Skull of Catan. Okay, so it's not bad if you mix it with the... let me rephrase that. It's really good if you mix it with the Chaos Familiar. So, your leadership 8. Now, if he's your general, that's the liability. So you start off with leadership 8. You consult the skull. You have... Oh, you can't do it. Never mind. They're both arcane items. Nah, I don't like the Skull of Catan. Chalice of Chaos for 10 points. It's 10 points. You drink it, roll a die, consult the chart below. If you roll 1, you take a wound. If you roll 2, you always fix first in the turn. I'm not even going to read them. It's terrible. Pendant of Slaanesh. Can only join units with the Mark of Slaanesh. No other characters can join the unit. Whenever the bearer or his unit takes a break test, it is taken with 1 less die than usual. Note that a break test cannot be passed with insane courage on a single d6. In addition, for each unsaved wound the bearer suffers, he gains +1 attack for the rest of the battle. That's pretty good. On a Demon Prince, though a Nurgle Demon Prince probably a little better. Blasted standard for 25 points it's a magic banner for Marcus Inch. Each time the bearer or his unit is hit by a shooting attack, roll d6 before rolling to wound. On a 2+, the strength of the attack is halved. If the result is a 1, the strength of the hit is instead doubled. Attacks do not roll to wound, or that wound automatically are not affected by Blaster Standard. I don't know if that's good. That's probably good. But like anytime you roll a 1, you're like, I'm thinking about using the Chaos Warriors. It's to keep them alive from shooting. But they already like shooting is already not really that big of a threat to them. But if you roll 1 on the standard, the shooting will just be devastating to them that turn. So yeah, I don't think the bonuses outweigh its liability. Banner of Rage for 25 points. The Banner of Rage can only join units that are comprised of models of Market Corn. While the banner is alive, neither he or his unit can ever lose the Frenzy special rule. If the unit has lost Frenzy and then this banner joins them, they regain it. Okay, well, powerful magic, powerful mutations, powerful demon princes, powerful lords on this of Zinch, powerful monsters, powerful monsters infantry. Everything's high in points. You don't get a whole lot of things, but everything is quite usable in this book. But your best of your best is going to be a big old horde, great weapon, marker of the Nurgle Chaos Warriors, with 1 wizard, a BSB, and some other things that their job is to go get you points and kill traffic and stuff like that. You run forward, you don't got to think. You put it, you're an ogre player. That being said, I'm just a little over on this video. Not bad. Warriors of Chaos, I love this book. I one day will redo a Warriors of Chaos army for 8th edition, because now that we know that it's going to be compatible with the 9th age, or sorry, 9th age, with the old world, that gets me motivated to paint more armies. I know for new players, how hard is it for this army? Now, there are new plastic Warriors of Chaos and Knights of Chaos. I suspect they're probably too big to fit on the proper square bases because the pose is a little too dynamic. Though, if anybody has tried, please comment below. Let me know if you can make the new AOS Warriors of Chaos and Knights of Chaos work on the proper 25 by 25 or 25 by 50 bases. And then check the comments if you're looking for that answer. Hopefully somebody has the answer already. I haven't seen the models assembled in plastic yet. So yeah, we'd love to know how viable this army is moving forward with the current range. A lot of things, Dragon Ogres, the Chariots, all the monsters. I think most of the characters too, actually. Like a lot of this army, the range is still for sale on the Games Workshop website, which is amazing. And just the only thing in question, because even the Marauders are there, the only thing right now that are in question would be if the new Warriors of Chaos models can dynamically fit in formation on a 25 by 25 mil base. If that is the case, this is a fantastic army to start if you're just getting into Warhammer. I will try to find an answer. I don't think I will, but I'll try to find an answer, and if I'll pin the comment if I do get an answer on that. But either way, if you know, please comment, and then stay tuned for more of these. Thanks for watching, everybody. Happy wargaming.